consider Rabindranath as the iconic figure. They would much rather go with Lalon because that seems to give them that sense of non-proprietary, non-interfering, non-establishment character that they can actually follow. That was Che. That, okay, this is a rebellious character. If I want to learn about rebellion, I don't want to learn from someone from the establishment. I would rather learn from a person or an artist who's lived their life in rebellion.
So, taking it on from what Q has just said, Jawhar, do you think that Akhono there is this sense of distance that we have from Tagore? It's like, Rabindranath ke dekh li, you can't say hi, paachwe pranam korte hobe. That mode for the younger people. And do you think that Prasar Bharati, this is a naughty question to you, will ever be able to make Rabindranath rock? If there is somebody who has created that kind of magic and come to you and said that we want to, seek your help on this.
I won't shy away from it, number one. I may lose my job, but I'll always find one more. The point is, I'm not saying it from the point of disgust or revolt. For God's sake, here is a man who expressed every nuance, every emotion, but he's dated. Yesterday I was talking about Vivekananda and I said one of the advantages of dying young is that you are forever sealed as young. It happened to Amrita Shergill as well. It happened to Shukanto as well. Okay? So one of the advantages of ceasing to exist or being this thing, that's one of the reasons why Shuchitra never came out. Never came out. So there are these things that play. Rabindranath, the fact of his longevity and the fact of the last image taken have so much captivated our minds, have imprisoned us to an image that the fact of a young rebel, which is the one thing that appeals to every generation, every new generation would look for somebody who's fresh, somebody who's not cloistered. We have bottled him up so badly that we need to open the cork now. We need to find him out in his better interest. You need to actually uncork him so that he comes out and then fulfills the purpose for which he was
like
one of the
vintage
biggest
wine,
rebels.
yeah.
You are now making him sound as one of the patron saints of the establishment.
Yeah.
This is only
objection.
To be the radical.
He
needs to be the
He
radical.
was always a radical. And now to make the radical look like a patron saint of the establishment is where we are all going wrong.
Yeah, but he himself was an old rebel. Some of his greatest rebellions in terms of his literature, in terms of his paintings that you have brought out to the world, were all done in his old age.
No, but
maybe
we should think of the image of Tagore
as the image.
as
communication
different.
device is the image.
If you talk of his art, taking up art on the provocation of Purobi, so we can talk about that. But point is, he had never the time or the confidence to get in. And art was taken, you know better than anybody else. He took on to art to discover a vocabulary that was free from the linkage of a language.
Absolutely.
An alphabet that could be read on its own merit without being caged to the experience of one region, one language. He wanted a free language to express himself. Among একটা alphabet, among একটা syntax, among একটা vocabulary he was looking that would not bind him to be a Tamil or a German or a Bengali. সবচেয়ে বড় disservice যেটা আমরা করছি, I'm being very frank, সবচেয়ে বড় disservice আমরা করছি that in the crowd of philosophers, poets and others who have now populated the world, he is relegated as the Indian poet. He never considered himself the Indian.
Yeah, he's not
and
the world
within
poet.
India, he's consigned as the Bengali
icon.
I mean, the only point I was making was that in the 30s, even in his literature, his later
But
poetry
thanda lagche ebar,
was
palabo.
much more innovative. I mean, for example, after all, Q has done Tasher Desh. It's a 1930s creative work. So he was constantly experimenting even late in his
and
life.
I think that now time has come to kind of take that forward. Some questions I'm being given terrible signals to say that we need to get over
I think we
this.
should do
Is
the
there-
paid forward, you know.
Are there any
Still all my honkar is gone today. I thought I could do with this, but I find a
Is there any questions that A mic here, please.
হ্যাঁ আমাকে না সুগত করো
আমি দুজনকেই করছি
আচ্ছা, কর।
সুগতদার আমি বসে বলছি যাতে
হ্যাঁ, বল।
লোকেরা দেখতে পায়। হ্যাঁ সুগতদার কেউ প্রশ্ন আর
পণ্ডিত
না আমার দু ধরনের প্রশ্ন একটা হচ্ছে সুগতদা যে বললেন যে প্রবাস জীবনে রবীন্দ্রনাথ একটা আশ্রয়ের মতন, এটা ওর ক্ষেত্রে সত্যি হতে পারে, কিন্তু ধরুন এই যে বিশাল এই যে ডায়াসপোরা আমরা যাদের কথা বলি, তাদের শতকরা 99% আমি মানে রাফলি বলছি, তারা কি এখন রবীন্দ্রনাথকে আশ্রয় করেন? মানে এটা আমি শুধু বলতে চাইছি যে রবীন্দ্রনাথকে আশ্রয় করাটা স্বদেশে বা বিদেশে থাকার উপর বোধহয় নির্ভরশীল না, একটা বিশেষ ধরনের মানসিকতা, একটা বিশেষ ধরনের ভাবে বেড়ে ওঠা, মানে কিভাবে আপনি আপনার শিক্ষা কিরকম হয়েছে, কি ধাঁচে হয়েছে, সেটার উপর বোধহয় নির্ভরশীল।
Would you like to answer that?
সঙ্গে সম্পর্ক।
Would you like to answer that, Sugata?
আমি এক সেকেন্ড আমি ওর হয়ে এই উত্তরটা দিচ্ছি আমি অ্যান্টিসিপেটিং শোনো সুগত যেটা বলেছে দ্যাট ইজ আ ফিলিং অল অফ আস হ্যাভ গন থ্রু সামওয়্যার অর দ্য আদার হ্যাঁ অ্যান্ড আই ফুলি এগ্রি উইথ হিম আমার only problem is I want to read the Bible. Question is which one? Can I read the simple James the First Bible? Can I read the archaic Bible? Can I read the modern Bible which says, "Hi Jesus"? So it all depends on, I would like to refer back to that corpus, but in what form? Sugata may have meant in the traditional form because we are all programmed on that and I love it. এখন তোমার frankly বলছি, I love it. কিন্তু আমার নিজের প্রেম, আমার নিজের love will not determine
What
public
is
taste.
needed? Yeah, public taste. Yes.
Or the path of the future.
Any other questions? Somebody had raised.
না আমি জহরদাকে আরেকটা প্রশ্ন করতে চাই যে জহরদা যে বললেন যে এই রবীন্দ্রনাথকে যে ভাঙা বা এই থিমটা যেটা বাঁধ ভেঙে দাও, মানে শেক্সপিয়ারকে যখন নতুন ভাবে পড়া হচ্ছে বা ওই থ্রি উইচেসের কথা বলছিলেন, সেটা তো রয়্যাল শেক্সপিয়ার কোম্পানি আমার যত ধারণা মানে তাদেরও একটা প্রোডাকশন মানে রয়েছে
তাদের রেপার্টরি।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ মানে তারা তো আগে শেক্সপিয়ারকে মাস্টার করেছেন তারপরে ভেঙেছেন। আমি অন্য একটা উদাহরণ দিতে পারি, যেরকম শার্লক হোমস এখন এই যে
আপনার প্রশ্নটাকে বলবেন।
হ্যাঁ মানে আমি বলছি
Where is the standard against which you revolt?
হ্যাঁ মানে আগে
একটা ধরা বলা যায় তোমার মিউজিক বোর্ড তার ইতিহাস, যদি গানের দুনিয়াতে যাও অনেক রকমের স্ট্যান্ডার্ড আছে। পয়েন্ট হচ্ছে যে বিশ্বভারতী এডিশনটাকে তুমি যদি ধরে নাও দি অফিসিয়াল এডিশন, এবার তার বাইরে যাও না। শোনো, you are not going out because I am telling you to go out. You go out because you feel like going out. Number one, you test your own market, you be prepared for criticism. Because you are taking on a task just like Rabindranath took in 1899, 1901, 1903. বাংলাদেশের গুলো যদি তুমি দেখো তখনকার বা আরো এগিয়ে আসো, Rabindranath took the same task. He was not compliant with the system. He was not system friendly. The point I'm making is now we use him as an icon of the system. He was never at peace with the system. Never at the peace with the system.
I think
One more question.
Good evening, sir. I have a question for Jawhar, sir. I was here yesterday for Nasiruddin Shah's session, and he pointed out a very important thing. He said, like Shakespeare, it's compulsory for students in Indian school, 9 and 10, but Rabindranath Tagore is not compulsory. I would like to ask you, you being in the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, why aren't there being steps taken to make Rabindranath Tagore's English short stories, novels, a compulsion, just like Shakespeare's?
I mean, he's not right when it says Shakespeare is compulsory. You see, the education system depends on different boards. So let's put it like this. There are the Central Board of Secondary Education is one of the most powerful ones. There are different boards. There are about 30, 35 boards. They will determine. You don't tell them what to do. That's the first principle. B, I have found that whatever was made compulsory, I hated it. I'm a normal human being. So let's not make him compulsory. Let's make him attractive.
I think that is the that's the
one small question.
yeah, this is the last question that we're taking, and then we'll have to wrap up the session.
May I?
Yeah, I can't see you, but
Yes. Okay.
yeah.
What I find, suppose 10, 20 years back, in college functions, in education institutions, in the yearly functions, etc., Rabindranath was always there. Now he's totally gone out from that. So really, we should feel that today's youth is not taking Rabindranath as we want him. He's a real Indian original person.
What is the question, sir?
My question is that how to bring him to youth today back as we want him.
You know,
Voito, as he said, make him rock. Now, sorry? One more question, all right? I can hear a voice, a lady there, yeah.
Sir, as you mentioned, taking him out of the bottle, sir, is it needed? খুব কি জরুরি যে যেমনি একটা গান আছে পাগলা হাওয়ার বাদল দিনে উলালা and stuffs ঢোকানো just for feeding modern the so called new generation. We also belong to the new generation, but we don't like it. We leave it to the people, but তার জন্য কি খুব রিমিক্স দরকার রবীন্দ্রনাথের
না অ্যাবসলিউটলি
প্লিজ আমাকে একটা কথা বলতে দেবেন
আমি বলে দিচ্ছি আমি তো বলে দিচ্ছি
আপনি অনেকটা বললেন আমাকে একটা কথা বলতে দিন প্লিজ হ্যাঁ অনেকক্ষণ ধরে আমি শুনছি ব্যাপারটা কেমন করে করছো সেটা খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট নয় কি
অ্যাবসলিউটলি
তো সেটা করে করো how it's done is what is important how are you judging it just because it's been done in a horrible manner you take you come up to a decision that you cannot work on this at all. How can that be any kind of a rule?
No,
you have to understand the nuances, understand what all other instances that you can put in. You should be aware of what I keep wondering that Rabindranath at that time was aware of every music form that was he was well traveled. He knew every new thing that was coming and he was so excited about it. And
absorbed it all.
And absorbed it and understood it and represented in his work.
So that's, you see, dating him, you're getting me wrong, dating him would be a crime. When he was available, he took Scottish ballads, he took everything. When he is available, can we not try him on some other thing?
Absolutely.
The question is if it is repugnant to your ears, as Salman Rushdie said, you shut the book. But let the other opinion prevail. Let us try, because you are a handful who have stayed back, obviously because you are, let us say, somewhat able to relate to him. But the hundreds who have left have not only left because of the sudden bite of cold that Calcutta seems to give, they have also left because, oh God, not Tagore once again.
True.
But also, what is new is not always better. Look, I'm all in favor of experimentation. But these days, even I'm not a singer, but I sometimes sing some of D.L. Roy's songs or Nazrul's or Atul Prasad because I feel that a certain gayaki is being lost. And that is
Sir,
sure.
just one question especially to Mr. Q as well as Sugata Bose. Once I've heard that freedom must be exercised with censorship.
Jawhar for joining us. It was a cold evening, but a very hot discussion, and we need to keep it alive and going. Thank you.
Thank you all for staying back. See you again at 2 o'clock tomorrow.